we have a solution. The Whine No Whine Show, where you can be friended and offended all in the same hour, where we gather people from all different walks of life and perspectives, and we talk about everything that everyone has told you not to. Religion, politics, and everything under the sun. Nothing is off limits, and we do it all over a glass of wine. So grab a glass and join us as we save America, one civil conversation at a time.
3, 2, 1, action!
All right. Welcome everybody to the artist edition of the Whine No Whine Show again on Thursday. Soon to be Saturdays next month. Welcome. Our topic today is going to be America Can't Civilly Disagree. What is the root cause and what is the solution? Pretty much the whole show is about this problem, so we're going to have a fun one today. Have a great group here. Got some music, got some artists. I'm going to let them introduce themselves. Just definitely want to shout out our sponsor, Dean DeBasey, with First Choice Homes. Thank you, Dean. We're going to jump into some intros here. I'll let you guys, give a little shameless plug. I'll start on this side if that's okay, or does that work with you? Go ahead.
Sure.
Yeah.
And ladies first.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Devin, and I am the lead singer for Better Than Forgotten, and I'm happy to be here today.
All right, cool. What kind of music do y'all sing?
We do like blues, rock, soul music, and we're mainly an original band, but we do cover songs as well.
Fun. Are you guys gonna play anytime soon?
We're actually playing at when's our next show? Nico's on September the 1st.
Oh, fun.
Yo.
Mm-hmm. And then we play at Back Pew a lot.
All right.
Back Pew Brewing Company out in Porter, Texas.
Yeah, I know about them. I love me a
Yeah.
beer
But
too.
you can check us out on our website at betterthanforgotten.com or just type in Better Than Forgotten Facebook and we'll pop up.
Awesome.
You can like our page.
Thanks for coming out. We're gonna hear some of your music later.
Yes.
Awesome. It's gonna be original.
Oh, yes.
All right.
Yes,
That's what I like to
original
hear.
songs.
And you are.
I'm Matt Hoffpower. I strum the guitar for Better Than Forgotten.
Yes.
Well, welcome.
Our lead guitar player.
There he is. There he
We
is.
only have one lead guitar player.
The only one guitar
Oh,
player at all.
You better be the lead.
There's only one of you that better be the lead, right?
Who am I following? I'm following you.
Right?
Awesome. All right, we'll come over here, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm Mike Fuller, and I do currently right now doing a lot of caricature art, drawing during events like birthday parties, and done a gender reveal, but also so you can always also done illustrations. I'm currently also working on a portrait. So you can find me at on Instagram. It's Midnight Pizza Productions. That's midnight_pizza, and then the word, and then it's underscore again, and then productions.
Thank you. Thanks for coming out, bud. Rich.
Hey, I'm Richard. I am also
Been on
known as
before?
Pace Factor. I've been on here before. I'm a classic illustrator. I make things with ink, and I also do a lot of graphic design and design work in general, just basically. So, hit me up if you need something.
You like t-shirts online, right?
I do a lot of t-shirts, yes sir.
And he did the Whine No Whine Show emblem on our Facebook. So if you guys seen that as our Facebook profile, that's his work.
Saw that. Nice.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
nice.
I think everybody here's seen that at least once, huh? So you guys know me. I'm Chris Minnemeyer. I'm the art half of Texas Music and Art. That's what I am, and Art. So you guys can find me at And Art on Facebook or The Art of Dispute, which is going to be the new show. So that's what I'm gonna pitch. Well, our topic today again is America Can't Civilly Disagree. What's the root cause and what's the solution? So I'll start with Mike over here, and we're going to do a little, give everybody our stance here on it. Just quickly, let us know, what do you feel? How do you feel if we're going to fix it, and what's the problem here?
I feel it's like the game of telephone, except we are no longer dealing with the telephone line. We're dealing with high speed, just things in a second, information in a second, and that's gotten our attention span smaller, and then our understanding smaller.
Okay, all right. What do you think? Should we fix it?
Sorry.
I went right to you.
You
but
looked at
I
me.
wanted to hear a little bit more. I'm sorry.
False alarm.
False alarm.
I'm just too pretty.
That's it. I can't look directly in your eyes.
I feel people in general, and I'm going to include myself with this one, that it's hard and tough to ask the hardest question, which is, in my own opinion that I've formed, do I have it right? Most of us have convinced ourselves we do, and that's a hard question for us to ask ourselves, is do I understand this correctly? Do I have it right? is there more information where I can maybe look at it a different way?
Awesome. Thank you for coming out again. Richard, what do you feel?
All
What's
right,
the problem? How we fix it?
There's some similarities in my ideas with his, but I focus way more that our communication issues have a lot to do with tolerance with extremism in general. Just allowing extremist ideals to scream way louder and people to create way more solid bubbles around their ideas than we've ever had before in history. A part of that's, social media and stuff like that. And we just have this whole clan identity, which has just gotten out of control, which, once again, I point back towards the idea of social media allowing that to happen. Social media is not a bad thing in and of itself, but it's very much facilitated because at the end of the day, we were designed to deal with small communities and maybe some larger ones. A city's tough for people, if you can't tell. There's been a lot of experiments through history. Cities, they work and they don't work at the same time. So
It's true. Fixing it?
when it comes to fixing the problem, I honestly wouldn't know where to start. I would say the biggest thing is that we have to make a collective effort to establish a semblance of sameness between all of us.
Standardize something standard.
Well, not forced or something like that.
I'm not supposed to. Sorry. Go ahead. Tell us what you feel.
I think there is a major miscommunication, and I think it's mainly just because of how fast we get the information and the accuracy of the information. Because you could have somebody very powerful put out the wrong information, and so many people are going to believe that just based on that person. Whenever the person needs to do their research and figure out the answer themselves, and not just go by Fox News or CNN or what this person's Twitter account says. I think people need to really, look at everybody and what they're saying, but then gather their own opinions and their own thoughts, because otherwise you just have a bunch of sheeples running around.
It's starting heavy on. How do we fix that though?
I think mainly the people, not relying so much on these people to tell them how to think. I think the person needs to gather their own opinion and do their own research, and not just follow one opinion. Other than that, I really don't know how to fix it.
Okay, all right. We'll kind of try to get a fix in here later today.
Just as you were mentioning the clan mentality of groups that are segmenting and going extreme in one direction and the other, I think we live in a time where media likes to write clickbait headlines that are
we versus them. Yeah.
But they want the click ads, and these people are commenting and sharing these topics and expressing their opinion on social media without even reading the article, just based on the headline.
Oh yeah.
And social media lets you create a bubble where you can block all the people you disagree with, and you can only listen to the ones that you like, and
follow the people that
report the rest as fake news.
Awesome. All right. Well, so I kind of have a big agreement all the way around. What we don't have is a way to fix it, which is why I kind of want to focus on it. I'd like to say though that the internet has done more for our communication than anything. Technically, if we had a communication problem before, it was because we lacked it, and now we have way too much of it. So, is there a middle ground that you guys can see? What would you think that the middle ground would be? Like, where would we find something like that?
Not necessarily really sure about that. I think it's the only place you normally start is with yourself. As
I completely agree with that.
Where how am I using this tool? And am I being smart about it? And that's me saying that. And my wife's always you're on Facebook way too much, which I am. I'm a Facebook addict, and I won't admit that. We're in a group now, right? And Facebook.
There is a group for that too.
No judgment.
But,
Internet anonymous.
But so that's the question. It's like how do I use this thing wisely? How do I shut it off and just say just say no to it and say no, I want to actually spend time with real people right now.
Yeah, the old first person to grab the phone in the group out of the. You ever just done the game? Everybody puts their phone when they're eating dinner. first person to grab it has to get the check.
Yeah.
I've beat that game many times.
Oh yeah, I don't even need that phone. You can take it with you back home. What about you? I mean, where's the middle ground out here?
I mean, like I was discussing a little bit, I kind of disagree with the whole idea of, I mean, obviously you need to fix yourself. That's an obvious thing.
Right.
But at the same time, it's very easy to create a cognitive dissonance, an idea that you're right and everybody else is wrong. It's just way too easy to do something like that. In fact, I would say that's probably where we got to we are right now. We all built this idea of how the world works, and then people started putting things into it that either agreed with it some way or agreed with it in a part, and then you just kind of let them fill in all the blanks for you. When you try to say fix yourself, I mean, that's essentially what everybody's already trying to do to begin with. I mean, a
you
cultural...
say that.
A
Not
cultural,
everybody's trying.
well,
Yeah.
some people give up pretty easy. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, to me, it's like an idea of cultural sameness. Whenever you have these big moments in history, you know, the crisis moments in history, culture just coalesces into a singular point. Like, for example, you're talking about war periods here in America. Everybody gets super patriotic, and suddenly you just see problems drop off the map for the most part.
Oh yeah.
Not that they don't exist, obviously, but
Back burner.
at the same time, it's people aren't paying attention to it because there's this bigger problem in our face, and the only way we're going to survive is if we recognize each other as all being a part of the same group.
Human group.
Exactly.
The human group. I like that.
Yep.
We have to think we live in a time where we all carry a device in our pocket that can contact anyone in the world in seconds. You can look up any information
For
on
free,
anything.
I might add.
And some people use this device to argue that the Earth is flat. So some people are beyond saving. Think about
Many of you
that.
believe the Earth's flat.
So
Please
some
post
people are
it.
beyond saving. I think your root solution might be with the school systems, might be with teaching kids how to express their differences, how to debate, and
Like we were
Sharing
when we
culture.
were younger.
Early-
the next
early
generation
age.
might be easier to save than this one.
I don't know about that.
Well, you know, I haven't said my problem with the whole communication thing, and I do agree with you guys with the bubble. But what our younger generation, which I'm just at the top at, has never not had that bubble.
True.
So when we look at that generation and we see them so blatantly, marching on stuff that we normally wouldn't, or what's the word? They're offended so easily, but maybe they're not so offended as much as the only way they've known how to communicate is through the
That
internet.
device and the-
And so there's never
That's a
been
good point.
repercussions from their verbal, what they're saying. So like when I was a kid, we didn't have internet, and I'd say the Earth was flat, and everybody would laugh to my face, and I would be the one guy out. Well, and you say the Earth's flat now, and there's 400 people out there that agree with you. Yeah.
no, there's my people.
So I mean, we're clicking up, like you were saying, we're clicking up.
Plan.
So,
Yeah, that worked.
but at the same time, there's shows like
What it
us,
is. It's
which
tribal
is
mentality.
we're trying to bring together people to civilly talk about their opinions and give them that safe space to say their opinion without, repercussions being so violent, say like that. Because online, I feel like everybody's so violent, right?
They do seem hostile.
Yeah,
And unfortunately, it's carried over into the streets. There's riots happening right now. People
Right.
that
and whole
cannot
big-
communicate and can't find common ground.
God, I love Houston. There's no riots here.
Yeah, that's true. Thanks. Yeah,
It ain't happened in almost 200 years, so
Oh man.
we've been pretty good about it. We all get
Watch
along.
tomorrow morning, they're gonna be a riot.
Yeah.
Man, I'll eat my own shoe. I'll tape it and everything.
I think a good solution would be the school systems. I completely agree with that. But I also think that removing the internet from a part of your home, or the living area, you no longer have access to your phone, or something like that. Having a whole rule
There
about
you go.
taking your shoes off before you go in the house is courtesy. Leave your phone by the door, something like that. That
Back
just
to
like
real human interaction.
some type of cultural rule that we can all agree on. That kind of just brings us back to being humans for a little while. I love to go to my parents, It's out in Wharton. I got 10 acres and my phone doesn't work.
I would argue that's not necessarily the best way to handle it.
No, it's not.
I mean,
it's not, but I like to get away from all this drama.
Just a
all the
little
time.
Well,
bit.
no, I
Everybody
mean,
needs it.
I live in the country, but I still have phone access, and I can't operate without having access to the internet. My
Right.
my
Business.
life depends on it.
Yeah,
But at the same time, it's also where I talk to most of the people I know and everything like that. For some people, the reason I think say that the most is that not everybody has the same level of social interaction, say in a physical
Houston,
setting
for
like,
that
well, I
much.
mean,
Ever.
just in a physical setting like this, anywhere in the world, it's just not the same everywhere.
No. Very different.
Just saying to get rid of your internet, I don't think that's going to fix anything. It's only just going to, if you already have a mentality, or if your home already has a certain mentality that this is the way we think and this is the way we do things, you're only being reinforced by the online aspect of it. That thing is, that's already been built. If you just shut yourself off, you're just basically closing the lid on a box that already has a pile of shit in it. Excuse my French. But
Make sure you bleep that out later. Oh, we can't be live.
No bleeping.
it's I can't really explain it any other way. Excuse my French, but it's just this way to look at it.
I'm gonna go to some comments here real quick, just because I was trying to read it earlier. But thank you for tuning in, Coletta. She says people have lost their sense of humor about everything. There's no tolerance, and people have forgotten how to laugh at themselves. I completely agree with that. I think that I'm laughing at myself more than anybody else in this world. Which is, it's true. That's all I do is laugh, and it's always at myself.
Daily affirmations.
We could have a
affirmations, right? I think you're right there. I mean, dead on the head there. If you can laugh at yourself, then maybe you can, look at your opinion as not being so stone. Maybe there is another point to your opinion, and maybe you should communicate so that you can learn those things, right?
I could agree with Coletta. I
Yeah.
mean, I think there, certain things you just gotta laugh it off and just go on about it. And then also, it's not really how the person acts. It's like your reaction to that person. It's like, do you want to entertain that person that said something crazy and let it keep going, or do you just want to kind of?
Are they paying you?
Yeah,
They can buy something from you? You know
sometimes
what I'm saying?
opinions, you don't have to comment at all, or anything. And then I agree, a sense of humor. We need more of it now. Everybody's so serious and so political. It's like, when did the
Everyone's
world
offended.
turn into this? Whereas before it was, let's go have some wine.
Well,
Not
Not 100%, but somewhere in between.
in between, yes, I agree. We have to focus on the serious issues, but then sometimes people, like what she's saying, she said, lost her sense of humor about everything. It's like some people need to just lighten up a little bit, and that's the aspect I'm agreeing with her on.
I could do for some grounding myself. Definitely need to do a little bit more research about subjects that I, should care about, but I don't, which is another issue because I'm surrounded by information all the time that for me to go out into that is a big task for me. I mean, it's not like you're going to the library and you're seeking out the book that has the limited, I'm going to learn this. It's like you say, okay, I want to learn art, and you go to the, you type in art, and there's 1,000 different. I guess I'm not gonna learn art.
I mean, that could also open up a very scary book in your life.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like that's kind of where do you go to get your information if you feel like you need a fact check? Is there a spot? I mean, I think everybody should know of one, right? Since we all agreed that you guys go somewhere. I know we have one that we say, Joe. I keep forgetting it because I never use it. What's it called?
Media bias.
Mediabias.com.
Media bias fact check.
Fact check. Mediabias dot fact check. I'm gonna get you.
MediaBiasFactCheck.com.
Thank you. Wine's already flowing. Give me a break here. A lot of sirens over the years. Laugh at yourself. Or me, somebody. Well, our producer, since I was talking to him, he said the Alex Jones gets down on Facebook and a bunch of other pages. Gets shut down on Facebook and a bunch of other pages. Is the answer silencing the voices that we don't agree with? I would say some of them. Some of them should just shut up. I almost dropped it. But I mean, what do you guys think?
No, oh, absolutely. Because I'm a comedian at heart. Have I made jokes that I definitely want the entertainers of the View to be duct taped? Absolutely. But do I really mean it? No, not really. So.
Well, I want to bring it back to our last show when we were talking about Trump and tweeting, and how much controversy comes out of that. And most of my panels would say we want to silence that voice. We don't want him on Twitter. I mean, what do you guys think about silencing people to bring less around
Who's
info?
trying to silence these people? Like,
Well, I mean, just like you have somebody that's out there deleting websites that are fake or whatever.
Okay.
Whatever it may be. Alex is not allowed on any social media platform, or not any, but on Facebook and a couple others, because nobody agrees with his opinions.
Okay.
Now we.
Well, there's plenty of people that agree with his
Right.
opinions.
There's plenty of people, but we
Yeah,
can't.
huge
But
audience.
they don't. The people that are narrating or
Right, right.
monitoring Facebook
Gotcha.
or
I
wherever.
would say that this is where my idea kind of comes in conflict with what I personally think at the same time, like not accepting extremism and,
Yeah, you're right. You
But
should
I
say
would
the
never
most thing.
say that you should duct tape somebody's mouth just because
Me too.
you don't agree with them. I mean, to me, it's like just creating an argument where there's no discussion, like saying you need to shut up because you're wrong, and
You both agree.
that's not the point. Both of you are going to say, okay, you're absolutely wrong, screw you, and that's never going to change their opinions, obviously, because they're extremists. That's the problem with extremism. But at the same time, you can't tell people to shut up and they can't have these ideas, because when you do that, you create this whole new environment, this whole new atmosphere where there's only one correct idea. And then everybody else is essentially wrong if they don't accept that, and enter 1984 reference here. But
Stop crying.
Nice. That's definitely it.
yeah, and that's just that's
So
the
we don't
society that
wanna-
you're creating when you just start shutting people up.
Should we
because they
allow
don't agree with you.
Facebook to and corporations like Facebook to subsidize our information,
I don't know about Facebook.
or even Google? I
I don't
mean,
know. What do you think, Matt? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm a big believer in complete free speech, even if it's what some people would call extreme. Because
satire sometimes.
what's the saying that sunlight is the greatest disinfectant? Put it out there, and people that know it's nonsense will see it for what it is, and you won't get sponsors, and it'll go away.
Right.
Hopefully, but
Well, here's to bring it back to that point. I have a hard time as a medic because the whole misnomer about fever and sweating it out. Because if you try to sweat out a fever and it's a bad fever, you're gonna have a seizure. Not very healthy. But everybody thinks that you can sweat out a fever. So I go to your baby having a seizure in a big blanket with a huge fever, and I'm going, okay, well, get this one naked. You're not making the problem better. So something like that would have made my life a lot easier to remove that from the internet. And maybe some other people's, because some of those kids definitely had some damage done long term.
If you don't mind me putting some insight here,
Yeah.
and actually to talk about the whole mentality of private corporation and something like that. I mean,
On a public platform.
Well, I mean, everybody sits on a public platform at one point or another, especially if you're running a corporation that focuses around communication and connection. That's Facebook, Google, or anybody like that. But at the same time, I do feel like any public company does have the right to manage and create the
Yes.
environment that they want to do.
I agree with that.
Though I will say, whenever you get to a certain size, you really have to scrutinize
Because you can't put, like, if you're
whether or
employment,
not
can't put
you
what
can
put on
silence
page.
something. Of course, that's when you get media afterwards. But
Yeah.
and that's what really creates companies like Facebook and Google scary, because then you have this whole thing where well, say they believe in a specific ideology, and suddenly people start dropping off the radar.
Well, for a long time, we couldn't even get our show to go to get aired because the live feed to share it because we had a political 2-second blurb in our entry, our pre-roll. It had we didn't even know. It had a sign and it had F Trump on it, and we didn't know at all. It was like that fast. You wouldn't even see it if I mean, nobody even told us about it, you know?
Yeah.
And Facebook wouldn't even tell us why they kept denying it. And so, 2 months later, we get it figured out and all this heartache and trouble to do it. But this is the environment they're making, is one that we can't hold up a sign about our president in a pre-roll or have a show about talking about stuff like this and them telling us, oh, it's political. You have a political stance. And no, you can't have that here. So they're already moderating our information pretty heavy.
Yes, they are.
So and maybe to combat that type of moderation, we should have a public search platform that's not moderated.
Well, then you create the whole problem that you need the government to provide a solution to a problem that they probably couldn't afford to begin with.
Well, yeah, true that.
Facebook grew naturally to accommodate to these problems.
Right.
A company to even try to come close to that would spend billions of dollars.
And there are platforms that have popped up that are promoting themselves as totally free speech, no censorship, blocking any of your private information from coming out. I'm thinking of one called MeWe.com. I think is one of them. There's, it's a free market. Something else can come up to compete with it if it becomes that big of a problem.
At the same time, just because of how expensive it is and how hard it is to actually even start something like that, they die constantly.
Yeah, I
it's
wouldn't know.
monopoly.
I just thought it was like like a big server room.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 2.3 billion users.
How do you compete with the guy who owns the only salt mine?
Pretty monopolized. I thought we had a free, economy here. No monopolies allowed. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
There's only one person with a salt mine. This is blowing my head.
I think about that. It's an idea.
That was like,
we eat a lot of salt. I'm sorry.
I think that was like
I guess that was a really old reference. But
yeah, I was like, I didn't.
Was it a movie reference or something?
actually, no. It's when you're talking about ancient Europe and stuff like that. Salt was basically worth the same as gold. So if you controlled the only salt mine, you might as well have been the richest guy.
Understood. It's like a saying, like an old school saying.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay.
It's
I
been
had
a
no idea. Yeah, that blew my mind. So Alex Jones is an extremist. He gets silenced on social media. Those entities are corporations. So silence voices versus government telling companies what to do. What's worse? And I kind of just feel like Facebook has created their own society, and they're the government. So it's the exact same thing. But I want to hear you guys' opinions on it.
Okay, I'll start out here.
Chirp, chirp,
I'll start out here.
Bueller.
I mean, the thing about Facebook, when you do have to realize it is a global organization. It operates servers in every country or almost every country, and it is going to be. Thank you.
No problem. Is everybody empty? Like, it's one of those conversations.
It's a serious problem when you have to figure out what that particular government or what that particular area is going to find acceptable and not acceptable. Part of it's cultural, and the cultural aspect of it's always going to be a big statement in that whole idea. But at the same time, personally, I think the idea of silencing people outright is a terrible one. Now, say maybe marking their content as saying it has an extremist view, I wouldn't be so far against it.
Labeling. What have they labeled you extremist?
People label me all sorts of weird stuff, man. I still get it.
I posted a picture of a sheep stuck in a tire swing that was running and then going airborne and then running and going airborne, right? Which was hilarious. And Facebook blocked it and put a warning on it of graphic content.
Oh no.
I'm not gonna go
just
there.
A sheep?
Nothing happened to sheep.
But if they click the button, could they still see the
Running in
video?
a tire swing.
That's
I
so
don't get
weird.
it why they were taking it off.
Well,
All right.
Oh, okay. Carrie.
Take one
Carrie.
more and go to
Yeah,
work.
Carrie. Thank you for tuning in, Carrie Ballberg. She says people use the "I'm offended" excuse when others disagree with them. Disagreeing isn't about your pride or being right or wrong. It is a separate worldview of another with their life and experiences. It's a self-centered epidemic. Well put, Carrie.
Absolutely.
So people need to care a little bit more about other people. I love that solution. How do we get to that point?
I disagree entirely.
Oh yeah, we're gonna hear about it. I want to go to commercial here.
Selfish of you.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, right?
You're offending me.
Epidemic.
We're gonna go to commercial, and we'll be right back. Go ahead.
Hey everybody, Joe Orsak, host of the Whine No Whine Show. And I'm here with my special new guest, Dean DeBassi, brand new sponsor of the Whine No Whine Show. Can't wait till he gets to tell you all about himself.
Hello everyone, my name is Dean DeBassi and I'm with First Choice Loan Services. We close all of our loans on time. We have great rates and low fees, and we have push button get mortgage. All right, just kidding. Just kidding. In all seriousness, folks, we are a boutique mortgage lender, and we lend in 49 states. We choose not to play in the commoditized lending world, such as push button get mortgage. There is no such thing.
Hey everybody, this is Paul Compton with JLA Realty, Houston's fastest growing real estate team, and I'm very pleased to announce that I'll be opening a new office in Spring, Texas. One of the things that I depend upon with my business is being able to refer my clients to a lender that I can trust, because that can be the difference between them being able to buy the home of their dreams or not being able to buy a home at all. So, I've always referred my clients to Dean. He always takes care of them. If you're thinking about getting a home loan, do not go with one of the big guys where you're just going to be a number. Give Dean and his team a chance.
I am a certified mortgage planning specialist. Less than 1% of all your originators have that designation. So, if you are seeking a mortgage and would like to experience a true boutique mortgage experience, please call the number below or go to DeBassiLoans.com. Let us show you why First Choice Loan Services is leading the mortgage lending industry.
Ooh, back again.
Hello.
Welcome back to the artist edition of the Whine No Whine Show. We're talking about today's topic being America has a communication problem. What is it and how do we fix it? But before we get back into discussion and maybe some more comments, we're going to come over here for some music. You guys, reintroduce yourself. Tell us what the song's about. Where you're going to play it next, that kind of stuff.
Yes. Our band name is called Better Than Forgotten. My name is Devin, and this is Matt. And our band is, we usually do original songs, but we also do covers as well. And we play at the Back Pew Brewery, we play at Nico's on the 1st, and we play at several other places around Houston. So if you want to check us out, our band name is Better Than Forgotten, or you can check us out on betterthanforgotten.com.
Awesome. What's the tune you're going to play?
We are going to play, which one are we doing tonight?
We're gonna play
Take Me Back to Yesterday.
Yes.
Yes, a song
You wrote this?
I wrote a while back, and it was originally a poem. Then I turned it into a spoken word piece, and then we ended up putting it to music. And we play it with the full band, and then we also do an acoustic set with it as well.
I look forward to hearing it.
Thank you. Gather my thoughts before I lose it all. Let me take a minute before I fall. It seems like yesterday when everything was going fine, and then I realized that time is no friend of mine. Enlightened by my sins, cause they gave me room to heal, but in no love have I found me. So I became someone else, someone who I love. Cause in the scheme of things, no one else gives a damn. So take me back to yesterday, take all my sins away, and take me to a place where we all forget. And love me to no end, so I can breathe again. Then I'm gonna hold on to another day. A vision was blurred then, but now I can see that all my pain from your inflictions, I had to fall from grace just to pray for my peace. But now I know it was all worth it. I put the blame on me and nobody else, cause I was naive and I thought you cared. says I'll be alright. There's a fire burning in my eyes, and that love is gonna set me free. So take me back to yesterday, take all my sins away, take me to a place where we all forget, and love me to no end. I can breathe again, and I'm gonna hold on to another day. Enlightened by my sins, 'cause it gave me room to heal, but in no love have I found me. So I became someone else, someone who I love, 'cause in the scheme of things, no one else gives a damn. So take me back to yesterday, take all of my sins away, and take me to a place where we all forget, and love me to no end, so I can breathe again. Then I'm gonna hold on to another day. Take me back to yesterday, take all my sins away, take me to a place where we all forget, and love me to no end, so I can breathe again. Then I'm gonna hold on to another day.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for coming out. What was the song again? It's called?
Take me back to yesterday.
Of course.
We have different
Yeah.
versions
Come on.
of it, but
I
that
just
was
wanna
our
make sure, yeah.
acoustic version.
Awesome. I loved it. I loved it. So
Awesome.
we're going out to Back Crew Brewery on the 30th?
Backview Brewery on September the 13th,
13th.
and then Nico's on September the 1st, starting at 9
Okay.
o'clock. And we're going to do 4 hours, so we have a
That's
lot
long
of
set.
songs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have 7,
Awesome.
well, I don't know how many originals versus covers, but we have a lot for everybody who likes different type of music.
A little bit of
And I also
everything.
really like Nico, so
Yeah.
Come see us! It's going to be fun.
I don't know that I've ever been. Honestly.
It's a fun spot.
Yeah?
It really is.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And it's here in Humble. It's
meat
like
and
right there in
fries?
Kingwood.
Like,
I guess a bunch of people, but.
they also got naughty options too. So
Oh, there you go. All right. What about you? What'd you come out here with? Looking at you.
oh me? Oh, I thought you were looking at him. I can't tell.
I know. Sorry, I gotta lean
Oh,
up.
I guess my pretty
Came
stuck
here.
out again. Okay, never mind. Like I said, y'all met me before. I'm Richard Pace, or also known as Pace Factory. It's by the tag I normally go by online. I'm a classic illustrator. I work with inks. I do design work, illustration. I also do a lot of world building and stuff like that, though that hasn't come to bear quite yet, but will be
Okay,
coming
like that.
soon.
Yeah.
I do pretty much any kind and all sorts of products, but I love working on books. So if you got a
Did you
book
say
project,
world building?
world building.
Could you tell me about that?
World building is kind of like, for example, are you familiar with video games essentially, right?
Okay.
So it's like, if you ever familiar with Elder Scrolls or something like that, all the whole aspect of creating the different
Okay.
timelines and stuff like that, and the
Okay.
different ideas behind how everybody works.
Very in depth.
The culture and the styles and stuff like that, and that's really where I like to develop my illustration, is trying to create these unique worlds that just kind of fit inside that whole thing. So
excellent.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Glad you explained
And
it.
you do book covers, but you also do art and you do ink. You say
I
you
do
did ink?
all sorts of book illustration. I work specifically with ink.
Okay.
So
Yeah, they're very clean illustrations.
How are your
Yeah.
I
tattoo
want to
skills?
see that.
I do some tattoo
That's
work.
what I was asking, because he's got a tattoo
You
right
got some
there.
right there.
If you check out the screen,
All
you'll
right,
see
all
some
right.
of
Oh,
the
that's
stuff.
some of your stuff. That's
Uh-huh.
really nice.
Thank you.
I like it.
That's a.
Ooh, maybe you
Video
could
game
do one
cover?
of our logos or something.
I could do that. That's
Yes, we're going to
absolutely
talk
possible.
after the show. We need another logo.
Album cover?
Album
That's
cover
right.
too.
There we go. Connecting people. That's what I do.
And he's good at it. You should have him connect
I'm
you.
working on it. Speaking of which, if you guys want to come out for a show, I commented. So get involved with me, and I'll teach you how. But Mike, talk about some art, man.
No, absolutely. Got a caricature gig coming up this Sunday in Sugarland. and it's going to be me and a gentleman actually I've really not met yet. His nickname's Snappy, and our friend Matt Garcia was booked through him, and so he sent the work our direction, and you were talking about world building. It made me think about when I personally do cosplay. So when I do cosplay, I always create a original character, and in order for me to, and when I do the process of creating the costume, along with it, I got to create the persona, who that character is. I create a back in my mind. I create a background, where they come from, what their motivation is. So I guess I didn't really realize I was technically doing world building in that process. Because I'll even think of who's their arch nemesis and why, that kind of thing. So that way, that maybe brings out another character later on. And then a friend of mine actually corrected me and said, "Well, you're not really cosplaying. You're actually LARPing. You're live action role playing."
There's nothing wrong with that.
Because it's original character. But still, anyway, that's
Where do you do that at?
Comic Palooza.
Oh,
I've done
okay.
it
Cool.
2 times now.
Nice.
Yeah,
And
cool.
Super cool.
So everybody asks you what you are, who you are?
yeah, absolutely. Then I get the opportunity to gush, in nerd speak, and because I'm among other nerds, they get it, they understand,
That's fun.
That's
Safe place. Love
That's
a
for
safe
life.
place.
So you don't do the cosplay; you just create the art.
No,
And the characters.
I'm the character, so
You're the character in your own cosplay story.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's not like, say me, if I was to do cosplay, I'd be like Michonne from The Walking Dead with the sword and
Right.
the
Oh, yeah.
braid.
Oh, people likes that.
I want to see it right now.
Oh my God, I would kill it.
With your
I would kill
katana.
it.
Absolutely.
Yes, kill it. So you don't do something that's already out there. You create your own
I
story,
insist,
and
because-
then you do your cosplay character from there.
Absolutely.
And you design your costumes and the art. Oh God, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, was she Michonne? Oh wait, that's your family. Oh my God. Are you
My
showing that on
producer.
Facebook right now?
Post it to the comments. You
Oh
have
my
to.
God, that is so. She was
Oh my God.
Michonne.
Oh, nice.
Oh wait. Oh, and you're
That's great.
Oh,
You're,
that's a cover
Rick.
photo. Don't worry.
Rick
Oh wait, you're
Grimes.
Rick. He's the son.
Carl, yeah.
Michonne, and she's the girl with the cookies.
The Asian.
No,
Carol.
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 No, Carol is always
Oh,
like.
wait,
The one that's actually
Just
I've seen
just
it.
look at the flowers. Just look at the flowers.
Right.
That's a believable Rick. You do a good Rick.
He does.
That is really good.
Coral.
We're gonna post it here in a second, guys. That's hilarious.
We're
though.
gonna have to get her some braids.
Nice.
Get you some braids next time.
Nobody can see this, by the way.
Coming back
Bring it
full
up.
circle, we're gonna post it real quick. Let you guys have a laugh.
Yeah,
But-
definitely post that. That was
Yeah.
really good.
Thanks for coming out, Mike. Appreciate
Right?
it, Richard. And I already forgot your band name.
Better than forgotten.
Better than forgotten.
He forgot already.
That's
He
why
forgot already.
We were gonna change it because we were like,
sit
I
there and
forgot.
write
I'm like,
I
you have the word forgotten in the name.
I think you did that on purpose.
We actually did. Yes, we did.
Oh man, that's so great.
Now you won't forget.
You guys
And
know
there's
me.
not alcohol in that red cup, by the way. This is honey
Oh,
and
yeah.
water. I just
No.
want to make that clear.
honey
That's what
water.
she calls her
The
vodka.
rest of us are drinking alcohol.
It's honey and water.
Yeah, I
Honey
believe
water.
you.
No, it's not the same.
Also known as mead.
Also known
See,
as
I
me.
barely
Yeah.
drank any of this. Just for the record.
You guys know me. I'll do my pitch. So it's gonna be the new show coming next week. I'm Chris Minnemeyer. You can go to my website, chrisminnemeyer.com. Start to see the development of and art there. You guys can go to texasmusicandart.com or the webpage and find, we're doing on tour and we got events going on everywhere. But next month, the 8th, Saturday, The Art of Dispute airs. I'm so excited about it. Moving downtown. Let you guys drink whatever the heck you want. I got some beer sponsors in the work,
I'll
you
get
know
an
what I'm
Uber.
saying? Get you an Uber that time, yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to be downtown. We're going to have a lot of fun because we're going to just walk right out to the next one.
Oh, that's the one that they.
Oh my goodness.
That's called great timing. All right.
I can't even keep going. Like, this is my job. All right. You guys, topic on hand today. The epidemic of communication and how we fix it. So we've taken a couple steps here and created this environment where you can disagree with somebody and still be okay. So what do you guys think that you think more people should do stuff like this? Should we have, instead of gun-free zones, we have, fight-free zones?
Absolutely. I agree with that 100%. Can we get a stadium?
Only katanas.
Well, I like the fact that
I'll run the bets.
in school too.
School.
When they're younger and they maybe, I don't know what you
there's
said
some
earlier,
love
whatever
out
that
there.
conversation you had.
True. Kids need to be taught how to express political disagreements without taking it to the streets. They don't know how to go talk to city council, and they don't know where to find they don't know who
They don't even know how to write a
representatives are. Right.
Yeah,
So
they
need
need to go back to the old way
it'd
of
be
teaching
nice.
them. Yeah.
I wouldn't even go that far. Everything starts with the family, man.
Oh, there you go.
That too. Yeah.
Everything starts with the
I
family.
think Joe homeschooled. Yeah. Still. Yeah.
I agree. A lot of people walk around here with no home training, and that's why they're acting like this.
Well, I mean, even if you got home training, those are the ideas that are first put in your head. Is
Yeah,
what your
I
mama
agree.
and your daddy tell you.
True.
Whether you agree with them or not, those are the first ideas you get.
Yeah.
That's just what it is.
So how do we educate mom and dad?
That's a great question.
I bring up the good ones without the answer. It's wonderful, but that's what I like talking about them. So maybe we can get to one. I think that family definitely has a lot to do with it. I think that maybe families being able to be more involved in the school, like the actual of school. Maybe they go to the schools.
Good point.
Maybe
you
they
do your own research. Don't just believe
Yeah.
the first thing you hear.
right.
and
They go to
share
school.
and-
They can see what's like there for their kid, and they can decide whether they want their kid there or not.
Yeah.
You know,
Reason
when I,
homeschooling exists.
well, when I was in Seattle, our schools would allow our parents to walk freely in and out of them outside of Seattle. It was a smaller town. Now, there wasn't a badge-in process, and there wasn't an escort, and once they got there, they could only stay for 5 minutes, and they could leave. No, my mom went to every class with me for
Really?
like 3 days, man. It was
What?
horrible. Oh my
It must have been
god!
a bag.
But
to you.
she got a great idea of what the school was like.
Okay.
What kind of
That's
teachers
true.
I had, and she agreed with it or not, and that I think that helped a lot with her understanding my issues with school later on in life.
True.
Oh, okay.
And-
I
I
can
think
see
too many
that
people
point.
view the school as a daycare for their kids. Just
I think so
Oh,
too.
to go watch my kid and
Government
not
funded
actually.
daycare, or
They don't.
government.
They're not
I think
involved.
your
It's not
mom had the
funded,
right
we
idea,
fund it.
though. It's all about, we all live in the same society, man. You can't have society without everybody,
On the same page.
partaking society.
Right. Yeah,
We all got to
for sure.
talk. Everybody's got to be there.
Communicate.
If you ain't there, then you're the guy in the woods. I mean,
How about this? If you talk trash online, you have to meet him in person.
I don't know about that.
That should be the rule. Don't you post online?
I think that's a terrible idea. 'Cause
People are gonna die.
I agree with him. That's not a good idea.
there's some people out there that people
wonder what they
go,
said.
If it happened in Houston, that's what would happen.
Hey, shh. We live in the best city. That's what matters.
Yeah, I
That's
don't
so
know
good.
about that idea. But
Okay, getting parents more involved in the schools. What do you guys think about having, grandparents even, and doing even like whole open sessions, school being, a whole different thing.
Well, to me, schools is just an entirely different topic.
It
in
is, but
itself.
I'm trying to bring in that was a good example of a fix.
Trying to find a.
Yeah.
It's a good example
he's
to see
spiraling
where.
he's piggybacking off of that particular
Right.
Yes,
fix.
I see what you're saying, and to me, at the end of the day, a lot of it is, how does society build? And we talk about children because obviously society is entirely based off of our children. Those two things that really build children: education and the
Parents.
family.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. I mean, to me, bringing grandparents in and stuff like that, I mean, it's 6 one way, half dozen the other.
Yeah.
You're talking about who is responsible for putting the ideas in their
your
heads.
grandparents saying all these old sayings. 6 in a dozen, half in the other. Something with the soft mind.
I take care of old people.
19
I talk to a lot of old people. It's in my vocabulary.
I understand. But I understood the 6.5, half a dozen. I understood that, but the other one.
I missed two.
Yeah, you know, half the millennials out there still be confused trying to figure out what I'm talking
Don't
about.
get
So it's
your
okay.
drawers in a wad.
Don't get your panties in a wad. Yeah, I think that was the same.
So yeah, make sure you guys check out MediaBiasFactCheck.com. Joe says Virgil and Oliver and Calvin, all three of them loved your music very much. So.
Oh, thank you,
We know
Oliver,
Oliver.
Calvin Weaver. Thank you, Olive.
I know.
Awesome.
Calvin probably.
And who's
probably
Virgil
get you
Robinson?
Virgil's an artist out of Montrose.
Thank you,
area.
Virgil.
Virgil's awesome.
Virgil's
We love
awesome.
some Virgil.
Everybody loves a little bit of Virgil. Jack Pace, this is Trump said, thank you for tuning in, Jack. Sorry about that. I almost went right into your comment.
Don't worry, he likes that.
Trump said Trump has never tried to shut them down. By them, I'm thinking media. So he says he's never tried to shut them down. He has called them out for their bias lying.
Yes, he's talking about media. by the
Yes,
way.
got it now. Actually, Obama was the one who suggested shutting down Fox, the lone voice in the major network market that was not parroting the Democratic talking points. I didn't know that Obama had that notion to shut down one of our major networks, major media outlets. You know, that's pretty.
He
that's
actually
pretty
put
tough.
out an enacted order for media control at one point because I was in the military at that point. And we
Really?
yeah.
Huh.
I don't know if Trump has. I haven't been in the media since that. Haven't been in the military since that point. That's just something they put out. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm crazy. I
Yeah.
could be crazy. But
I am crazy. I know that much.
Yeah.
Doctor prescribed crazy. Virgil comes back and says, and thanks again, Virgil, for tuning in. Compromise is the solution. It used to work, and that's what Democrats and Republicans used to do a long time ago. At least we've been able to accept and respect results of the elections without major uprisal. 45% of the country feels one way, while the other 47% of the other half is polarized on the opposite side or position. All or most of us, including politicians, have lost caliber and respect of one another. We need to look inward and remember we're all still Americans. Maybe it might take a major disaster to reignite and galvanize our union, our nation.
I feel like I commented on this.
I'm gonna say.
I did really good on that. If you guys have watched the show before, I killed reading that. Thank you for tuning in.
Doing good.
Thank you for tuning in, Virgil. What a great point.
You have some very intelligent viewers.
I
That's
do.
some very, very
Yes.
good comments.
Yes.
Well, and I think
Virgil's a major activist in the area too. He's got his own political group that you can go be a part of
Oh,
if you chose.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, very very fun.
He's also a lot of fun to talk to, if anything. So.
Definitely. I think he's definitely right. Looking inward, remembering that we're all human American.
that's what I was going
Right,
to say. I
yeah.
mean, that was the main key. It's like everybody's so Democrat, Republicans, like everybody's so busy dividing everything. It's like at the end of the day, we're all humans and we're all humankind, and you know,
Maybe showing more human,
compassion or
more human aspects of life, and people sort of, not being upset about it. Will
Well,
help
personally,
the world run.
I'm part turkey and part Apache attack helicopter, so I don't know if I agree with
But you
that.
still are human. We all human. That's what I said.
Apache attack helicopter.
You know, this whole
Are you denying my turkey heritage?
Were you adopted by the helicopter, or
No, the helicopter is the
biological?
third cousin on the left
That
side.
was,
Okay.
So
that was the helicopter parent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
fun.
wait, I didn't get the helicopter part.
Yeah.
Oh, that was what the
That's
other
the joke.
saying.
Came back around.
Missed that one.
No, I found that
you know
amazing. That it really is true that when something really major happens, like 911, when that happened, I was floored how we came together. It seemed, this is where it seemed, we
Yeah.
came together.
You
as a
said
nation.
earlier
like
before.
everyone, like you said, before, like everyone was on the same page.
That's true.
Like all of a sudden, we had so many similarities in common. We
Yeah.
found common ground, and
Tragedy.
And then
We
they
know who
forgot
we're
about it.
against.
We all feel sad.
How long did it take
yeah.
that to happen? To to
Well,
make that
it
happen.
took years for us to.
But I mean,
yeah.
it's. I mean, why
I thought
should
so.
it take something like that to really
I agree.
just?
Same thing with Harvey. Everybody,
that's- I
we're
think
in
that-
Houston.
that might be
everybody
why
was
they
just-
did it.
They loved each other during Harvey, and I was
That's
like,
terrible.
wow, this is the nicest I've seen people in Houston. I've been here 14 years, and I was like, whoa, these people are being so. And then like 3 months
I
after,
mean, that brings
like,
up a
everybody's
whole
back to
interesting
normal.
conversation of recent events with someone with the initials J.O. But
Huh. Is that your grandma's name?
no,
I'm just having fun.
Oh, it's
Having
helicopter.
no, that would be first name Joel. But
Oh, I
Ding,
can
ding,
see
ding,
that.
ding,
Oh,
ding.
yeah.
My
So we're going on a
boy.
change
Don't
there.
mess with my boy.
Yeah.
My brain just won a prize.
Yeah. Jack
the
face.
one that a lot of
Joe,
Houstonians
Joe
scratch their head at. But
Yeah, where they found shelter. Yeah, I remember that one. That's pretty good.
We don't want to talk about Joe.
Yeah.
as I said, the big J.O.
Yeah, so Jack Pace, thanks for coming back on and comments. My Facebook page was shut down a few years ago. I never discovered why. About 6 months later, or so they restored it and never told me why. So again, silencing the voices is it the solution? And wow, now I lost it. And we all agree here
What kind of
that
content
it
did you
isn't.
have on your page?
But do we
Right.
want the government stepping
Sheep
in
on tire swing, probably.
to stop corporations from doing it? So yeah, I mean, do we want? So corporations are doing exactly what we don't want the government to do. Do we want the government to step in to stop the corporation?
No.
No.
Well, I mean, this is where I go back to me saying
was what he
being
was
the
saying
sole
earlier.
owner of the salt mine. You know,
Yeah.
like at what point do you really say that the sole owner
So why
has
don't we
to
break
be
up
fair?
Google and break up Facebook into several different companies?
Well, I mean, are
Didn't
they
we do that
trusts?
already with some stuff?
You
No, I
can't
think
really
that's
do that. Not effectively. When you do that, you're taking something that is a working system, and trust me, these systems work because they're built the way they are. They're organically grown that way.
Yeah.
To just break it apart and say make it work,
You know a lot more about it.
It
than I
doesn't
would.
work that way.
Yeah. But if
can
you separate,
try.
like, because you know, for the second and the first biggest search platforms on in the world, I believe, are Google and YouTube, owned by the same Google.
What if you did what to him?
Separate them. They're two different companies that can no longer
well,
be.
they used to be
No.
separate. And
I
They
think
used to.
they
They
were
got bought. Yeah.
separate.
Well, they
they
were.
were.
But I mean, they're controlling the internet. Like
to
they have it. It's
to
there.
talk some history there with the YouTube Google thing. I mean, a lot of the reason Google bought YouTube is because they saw it as a good financial asset, but at the same time, Google loses more money than they gain owning YouTube. But Google's essentially the only person who can really manage a free
How's that
video
big yeah.
and manage a free video platform. The idea of a free video platform like YouTube, the thing that takes to piece that together.
Go follow us on YouTube.
Yes, follow us
Yeah,
on
by the
YouTube.
way.
Watch me talk more. But the whole thing is like the amount of work, the server space, it's astronomical.
Oh, I've
when you
seen
really
pictures.
That's true.
Yeah.
when you really have to sit there and think about it, just Google itself with the search engine and everything is an astronomical amount of stuff that they have to keep up with. And then you add on a free video system.
Shoot.
I can't think of anybody other than someone like Google that's capable of doing something like that. And I would actually argue that YouTube probably thought the same thing when they sold it. So
I'm glad it's you because it'd be trashed.
I
Pretty
mean,
much, right?
Where else are you
That's
going to
it.
watch free videos online, man? So
It's very true.
Unless
I
you
mean,
wanna
I
watch
got
a lot
a
of
couple of
ads.
them. I can't.
Oh, we're going to keep Google. We're going to keep Facebook. We're going to keep all of it. These people need to act.
That's how us
like they
artists
got
communicate with the
trainers.
world.
That's what I say. It's how do you deal with the guy
We like
who's
that
the only
stuff.
guy who
It's
owns the
fun.
salt mine?
It's good. Yeah,
You
we
either have
call
to
it.
make a deal or you have to make a middle ground in which everything
But
has
don't
to
get the
cost.
government
So,
to monitor any of it.
Okay, yeah.
That,
I mean-
like you were. I know you didn't say that, but
well,
Well,
people
it's something
also
to the topic.
talk
I know
with their
people
dollar
believe that.
too. So
Yeah.
that too, yeah.
the,
But
do-
I mean,
the dollar
they're
always
not
talks.
doing a very good job at monitoring half of the systems we have.
Well,
so
when you
don't.
have
Don't add another one?
you
Yeah.
have billions of dollars, you can do what you want.
You are
sometimes,
correct
so.
about that.
I said, B of A, Bank of America, predicted YouTube's revenue will hit $13 billion in 2017. Alphabet doesn't disclose how much money YouTube is making. The RBC
Capital.
I'm losing it, guys. Like I'm dyslexic.
The
I
alphabet
can't read
doesn't
it.
disclose
There
how
you go.
much money
Thank you.
YouTube is making, but RBC Capital analyst Mark Mahaney estimates YouTube's annual revenue has reached $10 billion and is increasing by as much as 40% in a year. September 6, 2017.
Nice, bro. Better than me.
People made me read off the
Terrible.
paper for a long time.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. My school like put me in the bad classes. I can't see.
That's how much.
Oh, that might help.
$13 billion.
That's a lot of money. I mean, man, we're just creating more salt mine owners.
I mean, well, at the same time, that same concept. I mean, I remember reading an entire article about how much money they have to spend to maintain that system, and that's just about as astronomical. So,
A lot of money.
I mean, you think about how much space a video takes on a hard drive. Now multiply that by
is revenue
billions.
the actual? I forget. Revenue's the earnings, like the
Yes.
what
profit
they
is earning, revenue
What you-
is
total. The money that's flowed through.
Yes.
Okay.
So they'll
I'm
have
just
a
making sure.
revenue.
I kind of have to.
The profit they make is nowhere close to the
Okay.
amount of revenue.
I
they're
would
pulling.
be interested to see the topic or the.
So I think Google makes so much money off of their search engine it doesn't even
Yes,
matter.
they do. I
So
agree with that.
they don't even care. It's like AdSense. Haha, we make money. We can pay for YouTube. Okay.
We are at your closing statements here, so we're gonna do one more, and I want to ask everybody one question and give them the monologue. But here it is. So you are president. We are a super divided nation. What do you do?
I would never take the job.
I'm with him.
I've never understood why. Why would
agree.
you?
I agree.
Who wants that? Who wants that job?
Who wants
Why?
that pressure, that job,
It's
that
made no
much?
sense to me ever.
Money.
You'll be rich for the rest of your life.
You
Man,
couldn't pay me
I
enough.
think-
I'm sorry. It's just.
Clintons went in worth a couple million. They're now worth $330 million. That's why.
But
Okay.
at the same time, they also do a lot of.
It's a pretty big platform to be heard on. If you go in
It's
there,
the biggest platform in the whole
world,
like shebang.
almost world, China bigger, maybe I don't know. But nothing. Did you quit? Huh?
That's
Well,
it.
I'm done with the world. You guys can eat
I'm
yourselves out there.
president.
2 shakes.
And
of
I'm in a
money
super
kills.
divided nation. I'll probably just get shot eventually. I'm pretty sure.
Pick a side and just hope you live.
Oh no, I don't pick no sides. I may sit middle ground, but if you give me a lot of power, I'm just gonna go full tyrant on you. So
He's gonna be sitting on gold. Oh my
I'm
goodness.
gonna go full tyrant.
I will silence and I will create the world. I will be the enemy. Make me the supervillain. I'll go for it. All right.
He's a world builder.
I think there's a guy doing that already.
Oh no,
I was about to
I
joke
wouldn't even
for
want
us
the job.
talking
I would
the
let
world
gentlemen
needs an enemy. I will be
there.
that enemy.
I
I'm
wouldn't
fine
even
with
want
that.
the job.
No one
I
either?
would not want that.
No? Okay.
Pass.
That's not an answer.
Yeah, you
That
guys
is not
don't.
an
You can't
answer.
just quit, guys. I need
Get
you
weenie
to.
out.
I need you to dress like
Divided
the
nation. What do you do?
I don't
Civil War.
Presidential Musical
know what I
Association.
would do.
The past two administrations have already
Cake.
outlined exactly what you do. All you need is a really good hashtag.
Cake. Hashtag
Yeah,
cake.
exactly. Boom. Everybody loves cake.
Nobody's angry with cake.
War.
Cake.
Cake is alive.
Okay, so maybe I would make a good president.
I think, man, I would have a lot of conferences with a lot of people. I mean, I would be big conferences, not little ones. Everybody would be involved.
Let's set the example.
Yeah. You
Talk to
you go
people
in
that
there.
have opposing.
I think you go in there and you bring in the news crews, and instead of doing, these quick, here's a statement, go figure it out yourself, you have somebody talking all year, every day, explaining, doing that kind of stuff, and you have them do it from different people, different points of view, and then you have a whole committee of people.
So not just Twitter.
Not just Twitter, like a real place where people are doing real things. But I mean, that's kind of where I think I would start. I think I'd just try to rally us as a one, and try to remember that, hey guys, we might be divided on a subject, but we're all still humans and we're all still Americans.
Right.
So I think putting that out there into the world, I think that'd be the best.
And cake.
And the cake, of course. Big fan of cake and ice cream too. So we all missed the opportunity. You should watch the Whine No Whine show
No, you're supposed to make America watch the show.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Y'all all missed the opportunity.
Yeah.
You're president.
Oh, that's very
I even missed it.
clever.
Watch our show! Make a one, which is what we're doing, which is what I said.
I think everybody will end up
Small
there
scale,
eventually.
we're not in
I'm sure
stadiums.
it'll be fine.
Watch King of the Hill.
Thank you guys again for tuning in to the Artist Edition, changing to the Art Dispute in September. Tune in tomorrow for the original edition of the Whine No Wine Show, where the corporate people come in and talk about their opinions and disagree over fine wine. So that's tomorrow.
Fine wine.
Yeah, we get the box stuff. Bunch of artists.
We don't know the difference.
Well, it smells like creativity in here. I'm not sure about that.
We'll see y'all. I'll see y'all next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.
Thank you.